Just give me a moment, please. Thank you.
We come to you this day. We come to you indeed every day. We come with joy, we come with love. We come to bestow upon you the closeness of the wonderful beings that are a part of your journey of life. Do not ever think that you walk alone in life, for that is not possible. For there are always those that are very close, escorting you in many ways through your difficulties of life, having to withdraw at times to some degree because you are so locked in your experiences of life that often take you into depths of despair and desperation. And so you cannot know the closeness. And we have to stand aside a little and allow you to work things out in your own way by finding your way to be perfectly attuned with the Spirit within you, that great divinity within, that light. These things of life cause many, many people to stray from the source of their being within. And we have told you many, many times, we have endeavored to give you a good understanding of life. But of course it is necessary for us to remind you again and again, for it is so difficult for mankind to stand steadfast every day. It is very easy for you to do so when life is easy for you. You feel that everything that is taking place is a joy and a comfort, and it is perhaps a reward for some. But we say to you, dear ones, as soon as your mind is taken up and caught up with other mishaps of life, out of tune you become. And so it is very difficult to remain in tune every moment of your life. And we understand this. But know that we are always in readiness. As soon as you put out your thoughts, perhaps you cry within your heart for help. You seek the assistance of the Almighty, the source of all that is in creation. And we step forward. We do not have to be instructed to do so. It is a natural process of vibration. We receive the call out into the ethers. You would understand in your own lives that there is much in the ethers that mankind now creates and fully acknowledges that there are messages from one to another by technical means, and the ethers are full of all these different communications and ways of communicating. We have always had the ether with many, many communications. We have always given forth by the frequency that exists in the universe the voices of those of the spirit world of love. Sometimes, perhaps, there have been those that have been rather open, as one might term it, and not aspiring to the highest, not seeking things by divine guidance, by the grace of God. And they put themselves in a situation where they are ready to connect with anyone that happens to be on the astral plane. And all are not, of course, of a high thinking, of a loving heart. They have yet to gain this understanding of life. And so it is always a wise thing to seek the very, very highest when you are seeking. information perhaps, or guidance, or simply courage and strength to move on in your journey. And many of you here understand that the task is not done for you. That is impossible. We are not in a position to take over your lives. That would be most disrespectful, not only to yourselves, but it would be that we are stepping much out of line. You have your own journey, your own experiences, and you are blessed with your own free will. And having that free will allows you to make your own choices. So we can simply be there for you, to help you, to comfort you. Many suffer greatly when a dear one moves into the spirit world and they cannot clasp that warm hand of love that they have known for many, many a time. We want you all to know that you can still clasp that hand. You can still have that nearness of a loved one close to you. Closer than you breathe. This might be hard to imagine, for perhaps as much as you would love another being upon your earth, you would not want them quite as close as that. But it is possible, when those have made their transition into the spirit world, to participate in this way, to intermingle with your own being, for it is of a different frequency, a different vibration, and it can interpenetrate. This surely welcome. Welcome this into your hearts, your minds, your souls. There are those in the spirit world whose loved ones do not have any conception upon the earth of their nearness, their closeness, and their never-ending love. And so it is difficult for those invisible beings, for they have to set about in their own life in the spirit world without that beautiful knowing that their loved ones could surely have. And sometimes they stand before the one they love with outstretched arms, wanting so much to be seen. But for many, many, really the majority, cannot see, are not aware. And so they are naturally disheartened. For they want to reassure their loved ones that life is indeed continuous. Life is life. It is eternal. Many chapters are lived and cease, and another begins. And so it goes on and on. And you can think of your life, your own lives, as being quite long. Periods in your life may seem very, very long to you. But we do assure you that life is indeed forever. How can one describe eternity? It is impossible. And it is not until you go into the spirit world and you absorb your life, you absorb the wonders that you have perhaps thought of or performed in your daily life, or wondrous words that you have uttered. And sometimes they are indeed the opposite. But you see all this, and you see how quickly your lives pass, and you are moving into another world of continuous growth, continuous understanding, and continuous opportunity. Your free will is indeed increased, and that may be rather hard for you to truly understand, but it is a law of life. And there are many, many laws of life. And when the laws of life are followed to the very utmost of each being, it will mean that it has been a fulfilling life. Much has been accomplished, and much will be reviewed in the world of spirit, as perhaps you might term it, success with your incarnation upon earth. We all come to earth at some time or another, and indeed some come more than once or twice, some come many, many times, for there is much for the soul to learn, to grow and to understand. So do not ever think that opportunities lost are lost forever, for you will receive those opportunities again, and perhaps again and again, until you absorb them and respond to them in a most loving and giving manner. You will look at your world and see it in a state of turmoil in many regions, and you may think to yourself, there is much to be done. And this is, of course, so. But whilst you, the way you are, and the opportunities that you have, and the knowledge that becomes available to you, gives you a wondrous opportunity to help all those souls that are so confused, tormented, perplexed, and suffering in your world, simply by giving out good thoughts. They travel just the same as your own means of communicating with one another technically. In fact, the process is far superior, and it is only in these times that mankind is beginning, and we say beginning, to discover these wonderful processes of delivering through the ethers, and they reach their destination so quickly. But of course, mankind is simply on the threshold of these things, and we have been participating for eons and eons and eons of time, countless time, in this process. Man is so inclined to think that he governs all, but it is not so. And when mankind becomes in a state of more humility and humbleness, he will surely realize that he is quite low down on the ladder of progress, and greater fulfillment, greater achievements, greater love will be expressed when mankind as a whole begins to discover these things. But it is all a question of learning, all a question of schooling, kindergarten and so on, through to university. And we can only say there are greater, far greater establishments of learning than your own universities. So, dear ones, we ask you all to take heart, to feel the wonder of life, to let yourselves be completely restored so that you are willing to allow the great knowledge to come
from within you, for it is all stored within you. The great power of this universe and all universes has infinite intelligence within it. It is naturally a part of the concept of this gracious and glorious power. So ask within yourselves, deep down, that you may find that wonderful knowledge that you can use in the process of gaining greater wisdom of life. Seek it. You may not necessarily have the words given to you from deep within. It may be that something that you see with your own vision or you hear prompts the answer to your question. Be aware, simply be aware of this wonderful process, and you will realize that you are far beyond your everyday person of living. And if your trials be very, very difficult for you to cope with, seek again the angels of love. Seek their presence to join with you, to give you that added strength that you surely require. For so many have these great burdens and sometimes feel very much alone, for their experience is unique to them, and they require that added love. And give your love to these souls, give your love to these souls, that they may triumph, for they have perhaps selected a greater life with greater burdens than your own. So they give you the opportunity to give more of yourselves. They are giving you a gift. Sometimes they may not feel this is so, but others know it in your heart. They give you a gift, a wonderful opportunity of expression of love. So hold that fast, dear ones. Hold that fast to yourselves and live your life according to your understanding. For it is little good to know in theory if you are not living your life accordingly to your knowledge and the wisdom that comes forth from the knowledge. So we leave these words with you, and we will allow perhaps one or two to speak forth to you. We who have spoken are the unified ones, and there are many gathered here of this unity, this natural blending of minds, hearts and souls. So it matters not who speaks to you, for all offer from time to time to be the spokesperson, if it is so desired. And so, dear ones, we will withdraw and stand aside and allow those who may come forth to you, who have made their transition far more recently than we made our transition. Blessings, peace, and love to each and every one of you present, all who are gathered here. Love, love, love.